hello everyone, Ryan here, and today we have another episode of Not Really Qualified to Talk About Music. And today we have on as a guest, me and Josh, we have Lee Likes Music. He is a YouTuber. We seem to have a lot of guests lately. This is pretty cool. We got loads of different types of guests from the music community, and Lee talks quite a lot about rock music. He started off, I remember when I first discovered him, he talked about like Bandcamp artists, and now he's sort of progressed and does a lot of like understanding videos, understanding different types of artists and genres and stuff like that within rock. It's pretty great stuff. If you've never watched his channel, please do go check it out. And how you doing, Lee?
I'm doing pretty good actually, and thank you so much for the great.
Oh, don't worry, yeah, it's all good. Cool.
Yeah, and I don't know if you wanted to lead on to what we're gonna talk about, or how do we
we just kind of just ramble on. I guess I should probably ask how Josh is doing. You know, we don't want to ask Josh, but we'll ask Josh.
Ryan never asks me. He never asks me.
It's like, kind of.
He always waits until I like pop up, but this time I didn't. I made him like.
Yeah, don't worry.
I made him say it.
No,
I'm doing fine. You know.
Good.
I released my first video ever the other day.
You did? Yeah.
Yeah, I did the YouTuber bracket thing, and
indeed, yeah.
That was a lot of fun, but like I had to like have a drink whilst I was doing it, because I'm just like the least confident person. It's so unnatural talking to a computer.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't even talking on the camera. That's the thing. I was just like, I had my notes and like I was on Audacity, but it was just so unnatural to me, and I don't think I'll be doing it again anytime soon.
Oh god.
It makes sense here. I'm comfortable in a podcast setting.
Yeah. Well, it's like conversational, isn't it? But whereas if you're on your own, it can be a bit like, oh god, what do I say? What do I do?
But don't you guys ever talk to yourself, or have you ever found yourself doing that when you're?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
I talk to myself all the time.
Yeah, I'm a sado man.
But you kind of get more of a not peer pressure, but there's more pressure when you do it because you wanna sound confident maybe, and try a bit too hard.
I mean, it's like that thought of like, this is going to someone. Like, I'm making this video to put onto the internet, where people will see it most likely. So it's very strange, but you know. That's what I've been up to, Ryan. Thank you very much for asking.
Good. Great.
Yeah.
All right. So rock.
Yeah. Yes.
What is there any artists or any bands that you guys have listened to like lately?
Ooh, in the rock music.
In the rock scene, Ryan.
The rock scene. Oh man.
The rock scene.
What is rock?
We're testing.
Yeah.
And
solid rock records.
I know you were tweeting a bit about this, Josh. I quite like the Magic Gang album. I thought it was pretty good. Not really like full on like rock, but it
rock.
It was
indie
pretty
rock.
Yeah, it was pretty much indie rock, pretty decent stuff. I wanted to review it, but I just haven't got around to it. But I liked it. It was good.
Well, I'm glad about that. Because it's I was assuming that it was like super underrated and that nobody was like even touching it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like I think Liam listened to it, but he hasn't said anything on it, I don't think. So yeah, I don't know if have you heard that, Lee, the Magic Gang album?
Sorry, Soundgarden?
Magic Gang.
Oh, Magic Gang. Oh, okay. I don't know why I heard Soundgarden. No, I've never heard about that actually. But it's some sort of
they're like a British indie rock collective, and they're not like pushing any boundaries or anything. And maybe the only criticism you could probably give them is that they're a bit too close to the indie rock scene that's sort of stuck around since like the early 2000s, since the Strokes were sort of big, or Oasis, you know, and they've like a billion bands have like copied their sounds, but like they just came together and made like, I don't know how long it is, it's like 14 tracks or something, and they're all like just bangers, like solid like indie rock bangers that you can sort of, you know.
But what would you rate it though? If
Yeah,
it's not
see,
if it's not groundbreaking, is it like a 7?
yeah, like it's around that for me anyway. Because you know, when I am rating albums in my head anyway, I can't, you know, if it's not maybe pushing something, you know, pushing music, making, you know, yeah, or I guess like taking risks.
Yeah.
Sometimes like that's a barrier.
Yeah.
You know, in rating systems anyway.
It's definitely gotten harder for rock music to do that though, hasn't it? I think like push boundaries. I mean, there's not really much over the past few years that's like pushed a massive boundary and changed something, but I guess it's just the way it's done. Like it depends on how it's done that makes it sound good. What about you, Lee? Have you found any rock albums?
Yeah, it really, like when we got into the part of pushing barriers and stuff, I really started thinking about there's this project which is called Seal and Ardor. Have you heard of this?
No, I don't think I do.
No, okay, it's basically a project of one guy. Can't recall his name, but I think he's from I don't know. He should be from Canada or the States, I think, and he's mixing together like black metal and Afro-American spirituals.
Oh, wow.
And he's also blending it with electronic music, and it's just like, whoa, it's really something.
Yeah.
So Seal and Ardor is definitely something you should check out.
That sounds cool.
I listened to it, discovered it on Bandcamp like last year, and yeah, it was just really weird, and it was actually the way that it's put together as well is also very interesting because it was on he was asking people on 4chan, I believe, what types of genres they wanted him to put together, and all of his fans or all of the people commenting there basically said like all different types of genres, and he picked out a few of them, which was black metal, Afro-American spirituals, and electronic music. So, and it's a really strange album. It's also, I don't know if he is praying to Satan, but the whole album is a concept album based on Satanism,
what the hell?
basically.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's very,
that sounds
very strange.
Very much like a 4chan album.
Yeah.
You know, like if you were gonna ask 4chan to make a record,
that would be it.
With that, I think, and I think like the fact that you found it on Bandcamp is significant here, because I do think Bandcamp is kind of the future of the progression of a lot of genres. You know, there's a lot of wacky shit on that app that you can literally find in a second, and whether it's good or bad, it's most likely attempting to do something that is maybe trying to offend you or offend, you know, the casual music listener, or doing something batshit crazy.
How long have you used Bandcamp though? Or do you often like surf?
Yes, I'm a pretty avid Bandcamp list. You know, every now and again, I don't use it every day, but when I do pick it up and I've got some free time, I actively search for really weird stuff. Because I mean that's just that's what it's for. I think Bandcamp is good for that kind of stuff. It's like highlighting the wacky world of music.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'd like to see a lot of these like really small crazy, you know, projects come up a little and you know, evolve and maybe get into the spotlight a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, at least the impression that I got after spending like months and months on that platform was that, like any other discovering platform, I don't know with SoundCloud because I haven't really used it that much, but I find that there's a lot of mediocre stuff. But the thing about Bandcamp is that once you find something, it can be very unknown. There's not a lot of people talking about it or that know about it. but at the same time it can be so good, so you're one of the few people that actually know about it, you know.
That's the beauty.
One band,
that is the beauty.
Yeah. So there's this one band called Talk to Plants, and they released a self-titled album, I think in February last year, and it's amazing. It sounds like a mixture of Pink Floyd and some indie rock stuff, some psychedelic stuff, and it's just, I was mind blown, and no one is listening to this. I think they have like 100 monthly listeners on Spotify, and I was like, holy shit, I really need to go and visit these guys and be like, hey, I'm gonna promote you, I'm gonna talk about you so much so that you eventually get famous, because
that's cool.
But that's something you know, even if you do want loads of people to listen to them, it's kind of like, you know, at the end of the day, music's our own thing. Like, you know, we listen to it because it's our own time, you know, it's our downtime, it's what we enjoy. And so Bandcamp is that kind of place where, you know, you don't need other people there, but you can't, at the same time, you want like other people to obsess with, you know, with, you want to obsess over these bands with I love Bandcamp so much. I could talk about Bandcamp for days, I swear. It's just such a useful place. And you mentioned SoundCloud, which is funny. That platform is honestly terrible. It's honestly one of the worst apps I've ever used for musical projects. Especially for rock, there is very, you know, little to no decent rock records on SoundCloud, because it's pretty much filled with like DJs and really shite trap artists.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think it pretty much always has been.
Yeah.
Really?
Pretty much, yeah. I think it was dying out at one point as well, wasn't it? I think there was...
It almost died.
Yeah.
I know, and then like Chance the Rapper or someone like that like started promoting it or something, and then eventually someone took it over and it lives, you know.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
never had a thing for SoundCloud, or I've been there a few times, but it's not like I don't find it interesting for some reason. Or haven't put in enough time, I guess.
No, it's not user friendly either. Because like searching for music on there is a chore, you know. As you were saying with Bandcamp, like, yeah, there's a lot of mediocre stuff, but at least it kind of makes it easy so that you can find a certain genre, you know? Like if you're interested in rock music and like a specific part, like maybe you're interested in listening to some post-rock, you can literally like click and it'll give you a load of post-rock records. But SoundCloud, it's just got a search button.
Yeah, it's really crap.
It's terrible, and I would never like advocate for SoundCloud whatsoever. It's true. It's genuinely bad. It should not. It should not be still in existence. I wish it died out.
Yeah.
Okay. So what other platforms are you guys using? Or have you tried
my main one is Apple Music. I mean, this isn't like a promotion for Apple Music or anything, but I just
Sponsored by Apple Music.
Sponsored by Bono.
Gosh, yeah. Jesus
Go listen
Christ.
to the new Bono U2 album.
Oh yeah, come on guys, go listen to it. No, but I used to have Spotify on my phone, and I think it was my phone that was the issue. But Spotify just crashed all the time, like all the friggin' time.
Oh, really?
And I just don't know. I always felt like it was there mostly for playlists, so I just wasn't really like. I thought, yeah, this isn't for me. I'm an albums guy. So, and then when Apple Music got announced, I was like, this is perfect because it syncs up with all your iTunes and stuff like that. And I was just like, well, why not just use this? This is built in your phone. It never crashes and stuff like that. So I was just like, okay, go for this. This is fine, and it's been fine ever since.
Yeah, I find Apple Music to be the more user friendly.
Yeah.
Spotify has shown me many times that it does care a lot more about playlists.
Yeah.
It recommends you some of the most ridiculous shit.
Oh god, yeah.
You would never touch. Apple Music it stays safe. It has it has what are they called, like specific releases. So sometimes stuff only get exclusive releases. So like Drake's done it because he's got OVO sound on there and stuff like that, and pretty sure Frank Ocean's Blonde was only on Apple Music for a bit.
Yeah.
So you get stuff like that. That's a bonus, I guess, if you don't care, whatever. I've always just found, as you were saying, Ryan, like Apple Music to be an album's, thing. You can kind of skip past the playlists.
Yeah, pretty much.
But the only issue with Apple Music, and specifically Spotify, is that it really kisses mainstream music's arse.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's where the money is made, obviously. But like, not too much to go back into Bandcamp here, but that's why Bandcamp is so good, that it makes money from pulling out small artists. Like, it's shown that a platform can do that and keep afloat.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's impressive that they've managed to keep so strong all these years.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Has anyone ever used Tidal?
Yeah.
Ever?
Yeah, my mom used
Really?
it, and it looks pretty decent, I guess. But yeah, I've only things that I've used is I've used iTunes or Apple a few times before, but very, very rarely. I used it maybe for a couple of weeks or something. Then I've used YouTube, oddly enough, for a very long time, just survived on that. And now I have Spotify.
Yeah.
So, and I know, of course, you use Bandcamp, as we talked about.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tidal. What do you think?
It's all right.
I used it because I used it for Life of Pablo when that came out. And
but it had like, did you listen to it first when it got out? Because there's a lot of different versions of it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I listened to the first ever version. I truly don't remember it. I don't remember it being that different from the current version, anyway.
Nor do I.
No, but yeah, the brief moment I used Tidal was literally for that. I thought it was kind of just an Apple Music clone. Really, it was barely different.
Yeah, it's not much that different. I don't really like the colour schemes. I don't know why. I know it sounds like petty.
We're all getting in technical. It's not pretty enough.
Yeah, literally though. Like I just use it. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't look right. But yeah, I'm the same with Josh. I downloaded it for the Jay-Z album that came out last year, because I was like, well, I just started my channel, so I was like, I can't miss this one. I have to review it. So I just downloaded Tidal for the month free trial and just made sure I cancelled it before the month went out. But yeah, I mean, like, it's good. I like how, like, the idea was to give it back to the artists, but the issue with that is that we're too far gone now. Like, too many people just don't care. Like, people just want free stuff. Even in like films and stuff, people download films. Like, people just want it free, want it now. And if they'd have done this right, like, as music started to become more like pirated and stuff like that, like in like 2006 or 7, like, yeah, the Tidal would have been thriving, but nah, just it's too far gone.
And I mean, also, like, Tidal was only giving it back to like a selective amount of artists. So.
Well, yeah, I think it depended on like the labels and stuff like that. It was all really to do with that, and you know what labels are like, they just money grab, really.
Yeah, and like, okay, so Jay-Z, Beyonce, Kanye,
Arcade Fire,
whatever. Yeah, they had shares in them, but when it came to smaller artists, they didn't get shit. Like, it's the same with every other platform. So like, now artists are just sort of catering to that. That's how they're making their living. Like, streaming, it will be how they make their money. Specifically hip hop. However, what I like about rock music is that or indie rock or whatever, is at least in the mainstream, they've physical is still a thing very much. Like vinyl is a big seller in rock music.
Yeah,
it's massive. So I can commend that. Like that's modern rock music, mainstream rock music is at least trying to break back into physical.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's definitely coming back. I think I saw the numbers or the statistic for Bandcamp like last year, and it's really shooting back into the sky again in terms of sales of not only vinyl, but there's also like a lot of cassettes are being sold, because that's sort of the new indie cool thing to be into that way. And I think it's because my I don't know with your parents, but at least my mom and my dad, they're not a fan. I mean, they used to have like LPs, like vinyls and stuff themselves, but my dad especially is not a fan of vinyl at all. He's like CDs all the way. And I'm totally into vinyl. I love vinyl, but I guess that is because he has kind of experienced it. I mean, at that time when he was young, it was still a thing, but then CD came, and then audio or like digital came. So it's kind of for us that haven't experienced it when we were younger. It's still sort of a new glimmery thing that we want our hands on, sort of.
I think it also comes down to like your dad probably would have understood the sort of grind of finding an artist that they were interested in, because like he would have only been able to get his hands on what he could get his hands on. That was it. And now CDs were so easy to make, easy to distribute across the world, and they were easy to play. You didn't have to have a record player, all this faff. They barely broke. They barely, they're really strong things. So that was easier for him. And then when streaming came along, he was like, "Oh, great! I could just find whatever I want. This is awesome. I don't even have to." What's the point even having physical copies of anything? And I totally get that. And I would probably be in that same position, I think. But as you say, because this is all new, fresh to me anyway. I'm very involved. I'm very, I have a pretty decent collection, and which seems to just keep growing bigger. So.
I mean, I made a video about Jack White.
I watched that.
A little bit over a month ago. And one of the things that he's really into is just the physical part. I mean, that's a very big part of the experience of music. But also what he said was the movement of the different parts. That has always been a part of us humans for such a long time, ever since we started farming our lands. We've been very addicted to wheels and things that are spinning, right? So he was making that connection, like, oh, okay, that is the reason why some people really love vinyl, because it's a mechanical part or process that you take part in, and there's a sort of beauty in that. And I really resonate with that. I don't know what
I completely agree. I totally agree. And it's it is totally the physical thing, the movement, and the process of like taking it out the sleeve, taking it out the inner sleeve, placing it on the turntable, pulling the needle over, that kind of stuff. It's like it's not effort to me. It's like suspense almost. It's like oh great, I love this like 5 seconds is so worth it. So worth the £25 that I spent on this record. Like, I don't know about you, Ryan. Do you collect vinyl? I've never asked you this kind of.
No, I don't really talk much about vinyl, mostly because I've not got a record player at the minute. I gave it away to my my brother-in-law because I had a Crosley, and we all know how bad they are. But it was a gift.
Wincing.
It was a gift, so obviously, like, I just used
Everybody
that.
attack Ryan in the
comments. He has a Crosley. Oh no!
Oh, he's got a Crosley. Is he a white
No
girl?
me.
No.
No, so it was a gift. So I was using that for quite a long time, and then I was like, you know what, these I hear too much bad about these, and I feel like I'm missing out. Like, what's the best record player out there? So I gave that to my brother-in-law, handed it over to someone else. Like, yeah, you have this piece of crap. No. No. And yeah, so since then I've just been like, I'll get a record player at some point, but they are expensive, so I'm just waiting maybe to like, I don't know, I get a bit of extra cash for whatever reason and just splash it out on a good one. But yeah, I've got a lot of vinyl. I think I haven't counted it for a while, but I think I'm close to 100 at the moment, but wow. I don't know. But I don't know for example for the exact amount, sorry, but I thought of doing like a vinyl series on the channel, but I don't know, maybe one day, maybe, we'll see.
Yeah. Lee, what's your sort of favourite record? What's your favourite sort of pickup recently that you've
The thing is, it's been a very, very long time since I bought vinyl, because I'm actually living in this, I'm renting this very small room, and between me and the guy that lives beside me, there's like one very, very thin wall. So I mean, I do play music here. I do stream. I have this small speaker, but it's not the optimal place to play music in a way. So yeah, I have really never, at least during the last year, maybe year and a half, I haven't thought about vinyl for a long time. But I do plan on picking that habit up. But you know, it's just a process of, okay, maybe I should move somewhere else, and then I can collect some speakers and stuff like that. But yeah, let me see. I listened to this. What is it called? Not Tom Petty, but I can't come up with it. But I can talk a little bit about like some of my top albums.
Yeah, go for it.
What are your top albums of this year? I would say. You know, what's your favorite so far?
Yeah, you got any?
I'm sorry.
This is such a brain.
I'm asking horrible questions here.
This right now. Yeah.
What about the Jack White album? Would you say that's up there for you?
I was about to ask that exact same question.
Hey, great minds.
I didn't like that one.
Hey,
I haven't
he's right.
That much to it.
Well, he's right.
My first impression was very bad.
It's an album you have to be patient with, honestly. And I truly trust Ryan has been patient.
Yeah. Yeah, I always am.
Yeah, but I mean, it's definitely one of those records that if you are like, if you really do want to like it, you sort of stick with it. It will either come to you or it won't. Like, it's definitely one of those.
But yeah, any others, Lee? Or
yeah.
Any other records? Or you're not sure? You can't think of anything at the moment.
No, I mean, I've been so stuck in like music, because the only thing that I'm like consuming as of now is just I've been looking very much to the past. So I've been listening to a lot of not a lot, but I've been listening to some new wave stuff. Ooh. Like Susie and the Banshees, for example, or Adam.
Right.
And let's see what more. Talking Heads.
Great band. Yeah.
And I've just tried to slowly get into those bands. I think I have a thing for Susie and the Banshees and Adam and the Ants. There's this one album called Knights of the Frontiers or something. I don't recall the name completely, but that's a really good album, I think.
Cool.
And Talking Heads, there's just something about the Talking Heads that I don't get, but I really want to like them. So I don't know. I guess I just need to be more patient.
Yeah. I think the thing about the Talking Heads is that they were so like ahead of their time. It's actually kind of scary how phenomenally sort of progressive their music was, and the lyrics were so sort of strange, and the way the songs progressed, it's very frantic. It's very out of the ordinary. Like
it's like they mix so many genres as well. It's like African bongo drums,
definitely
rhythms mixed with funk and like rock and punk and all of that stuff. It's
that's what I mean. Like maybe they were the Bandcamp band of their time. You know, like Talking Heads are definitely one of my, I think like one of my favorite bands that I can only listen to every now and again. I don't think I'm, and you know, I don't know if you find this, Ryan, like they're one of those bands that I, you know, if I'm feeling them, I'll listen to it, but like I can't at like a certain point listen to them. If I'm like feeling a certain way, I just don't know if I can. Talking Heads is a mood band for me.
Yeah, there are a lot of bands like that. But yeah, I could stick on Talking Heads anytime and I'd enjoy it because I love.
Oh really?
Yeah, I love their music. I think they're fantastic. I think Psycho Kill is like one of the best songs ever. Honestly, I mean, fucking Psycho Kill is insanely good. But yeah, obviously Remaining Lights are like most popular one, and I love that one. A lot of people think that they're not that good though. Like if you go on some like Rate Your Music reviews, you'll see that they get so much hate, and it's like, really, like why are you hating them? Like they were really creative.
Yeah, I can't be arsed with Rate Your Music. I think it's truly one of the worst sites out there.
Really?
Well, I just can't get behind a site that is full of people who think Radiohead's OK Computer is one of the best albums of all time, yet truly hate
which website was
Rate
that?
Your Music.
Right. Rate Your Music, yeah.
Yeah. So they think
one.
OK Computer is one of the best albums of all time, yet they don't like Talking Heads. I think that's kind of weak. I think that's pathetic, actually.
Yeah. But there's this one website which is called Acclaim Music. I don't know if you guys have it.
Vaguely. I don't use it.
And I think OK Computer is very, very high on, like, because that's just so you know, Josh, it's a page, a website that collects all the data from basically every single it's like Metacritic's, just even better.
I see what you mean. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So and OK Computer is actually, I think it's in the top 10 of all time actually, which is pretty insane. Or maybe it was the top 20. I'm not sure. But yeah, it just shows that it's. I mean, a lot of people think that album is really.
Yeah.
really
What's your thought, Lee? Because I think like Radiohead are kind of the Pink Floyd of our generation almost.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Because they're big sellers. In my opinion, they're kind of overrated. But that's only because they're like held as like Jesus, you know. What's your opinion, Lee? On Radiohead generally?
I mean, I have so many friends that are like totally into them, like praying to them every single day. But I don't know. I think many of their albums are extremely well, and I can totally see why they get such huge rating from almost everyone. But at the same time, there are so many other albums that I also think is they're albums that I personally don't get that into, and I don't know if that is because I have a weird taste or I have no idea. But yeah, I don't think to be honest, I don't think I've spent enough time listening to Radiohead to be the best judge of just I don't have a firm enough opinion about Radiohead. I mean, I've listened to OK Computer, and I like that is definitely one of my all-time favorite albums.
Yeah.
And In Rainbows is also a fantastic.
The best, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, and I also like what is it called? The one that came after. No, Kid A is also brilliant, fantastic. But the one that came after was
Amnesiac? Yeah.
Amnesiac. Yeah, there's just something about that record that it's it's not.
Yeah, I agree.
King of Limbs.
This is what people sort of forget with Radiohead, even though In Rainbows, Kid A, OK Computer are kind of the Dark Side of the Moon, The Wall. I'm comparing back to Pink Floyd now, but they kind of are like they do forget. I like to Pink Floyd that there are a lot of other records that are genuinely average. They're okay. And to me, yeah, as you were saying, like, Amnesiac is really good background music. It's very nice, it's a little more ambient than Kid A was, but that's kind of because they were just unfinished ideas from Kid A that were put out as an album when they really shouldn't have been. But yeah, it's
gonna be so many people in the comments there, like,
yeah, they will.
No, don't worry. No, I've had worse episodes where I've said something.
Oh yeah.
And people have not been happy. I mean, not in the comments. They've just added me on Twitter or something like that.
It's funny.
Somebody called me a tool. Who called me a tool? I can't remember why though.
Yeah, you never let that go, did you?
No, I never let that go. That's my first ever hate comment. Thank you.
Yeah, that's funny. No, but I like Radiohead. I do agree though, they are a bit overrated because everything that they make is apparently like the greatest thing ever to touch the music like scene in the world. But I don't know. I'm fine with a band like Radiohead getting all that acclaim, but at least it's not like, you know, like, I don't know, like Imagine Dragons that are getting all the critical acclaim. Like, at least like we kind of agree that they're a bit crap and no one really thinks that their music's amazing. But yeah, Radiohead are pretty cool. Like, they were, for the time, they were doing things really revolutionary. I still think OK Computer's better than Kid A, but I don't know if people would agree.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But I wouldn't, like, still, like, it's not like top 10 all-time albums I've ever heard. Like, I don't know, maybe I just have a different taste, but I don't think any Radiohead album is that good. But I don't know, every other website seems to think otherwise. But
well, they're experimental, accessible, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
They're just that experimental that people can call them the most progressive band of all time.
Yeah,
Yet their songs are generally catchy. They're like, there's a lot catchy about them. There's a lot, melodic. Sure. They're no sort of noise band, you know.
Yeah, it's like, it's accessible enough for you to get it, even if it is quite like out there and But yeah.
Did you guys? There's this one video that Pitchfork put out on their YouTube channel. I think it's called A Brief Story of Radiohead.
I saw that.
No, I never saw it.
It's kind of funny because it's like there's, I don't know if have you seen it?
No, I've not seen this video. No.
Okay, so the story goes that, or the whole video is basically a cartoon, and it's about these small kids that are gonna have a presentation in front of their whole class, and they're gonna have a presentation about Radiohead, right? And they're continuously making jokes about why. Not the kids, but the guys that animated this makes jokes about how so many Radiohead fans are looking at them like gods, So this one kid hallucinates that all of the different kids' heads in the room turn into Radiohead albums, and he's like, "Oh my god!" So it's really funny.
Yeah, I should check it out.
Yeah. They do good stuff on. Well, I mean, sometimes on the Pitchfork YouTube channel, like those animated ones.
I think they just do too much stuff. I mean, they have this Over and Under series, and then they have this cartoon series going. There's just too
I do
much.
Like the Over and Unders though.
I like that one. Yeah, it's one of my favorite Pitchfork things. Yes.
Yeah, it's probably my only favorite Pitchfork thing. I mean, like the brief history stuff. Like they did a brief history of emo music, which was interesting. Like that was genuinely interesting. But like the Over and Under stuff, like the thing I've always got in the back of my mind is like the Open Mike Eagle one.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
Where like it comes up with punching Nazis, and he's like, underrated, absolutely. I wish I could punch a Nazi like right now, and I'm like, that's always like in the back of my mind. I love like Over and Unders because they give you a funny insight, to the artists.
Yeah, it's really good. I like that a lot.
And say what you want about Pitchfork, they're relevant.
Oh yeah, they're huge.
Yeah. But we talked a lot about those in was it the last video, Ryan?
No, it was a video before. We talked about music publications. Yeah.
was the conclusion there?
Suck.
Or did you just like speak around everything?
No, we were pretty blunt, weren't we? But it was more to do with the fact that like so many publications aren't willing to give an album like a low score and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of crap, but
and here's the thing about like rock music with like publications nowadays. I brought up in that video. I brought up the Jack White album, and I actually spoke badly of the Jack White album at that point. I didn't like it yet, and I was saying that like these reviews that they were giving were so obviously like a load of horse shit, because it was just the most experimental rock album of the decade of any time ever. Nobody's ever done shit like this. And it was like, I kind of feel like you were just paid to say that and just move on, you know, because it's Jack White. People are going to eat that shit up. They're going to be like, oh yeah, I know, yeah, that sounds like something he would do. And rock music, especially like oldies, like, you know, old rock musicians that are, you know, still playing in modern day, like Rolling Stone and all that. They will give them good scores and just say like, oh, it's so captivating,
shit.
Blah blah blah. Pretty much. Like, I mean, the Jack White album obviously I ended up liking, but I still think those reviews were a load of bollocks. Like, I don't think they were. You know, and like that Rick Parfitt album from Status Quo.
No idea, I've not heard it.
Came out recent. No, you don't want to. But that got, you know, it's got reviews on the front of the record, and it's like, they're good obviously they're good reviews, but like, but it's so horrible. It's disgustingly bad.
Just because it's so far off from what you think and what a lot of other people think.
Well, I think just like...
Or just, do you feel like it's superficial, like surface level?
I think where rock music can... This is where the dangerous part of rock music is that it's stuck in the past. And these, you know, a lot of old people, a lot of old, you know, musicians making music now are stuck in the past. Totally. You know, Rick Parfitt probably still playing shit from what he was doing in Status Quo. It's just like, it's fine if you want to. I mean, I totally understand it. It's just, don't, you know, it's not interesting is the only thing, you know. If that's the music you want to make now, fine, but like, don't expect anyone to care.
I wonder. I really wonder though what the new thing within rock music is gonna be, if there is going to be a mutation between rock music and something else. I don't know if
it does seem to be like
it
does seem to be like electronic now, doesn't it? Like so many rock bands are just like throwing away the guitars and like throwing in synthesizers instead, and it's just, I don't know, it's all sounding a bit similar and robotic and stale and like processed, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Or then you have these like hybrids between rock music and pop music. Like there's this one band, I haven't listened that much to them, but I got recommended them by someone, so I think they're rock music, but I think they're pop.
Oh, The Script, yeah.
Sure, but
that's pop to me. I think it's pop, but
is that rock music or?
Yeah. When they started off, they were a bit like,
Script,
you know, there was guitars and drums and all that stuff, but yeah, it wasn't really heavy enough to be rock, I don't think.
Well, I think The Script, like, they came around the time where like bands like Snow Patrol and you know, bands like that were around, where they were rock, they were pop rock, but like, and now looking back on them, you wouldn't call them anything else other than pop, because I mean, rock music has kind of, you know, there at least are some bands progressing, and I know maybe they're bringing in synths and stuff like that, and maybe you're not interested, but it's something else, I guess. You know, it's not just guitar, drums, bass, stuff like that. It's expanding. somewhat. But there's still room for pop rock. Just maybe.
Yeah, make it good, literally.
Just
Just make it good. It's not that hard, people.
Says all the people here that don't make music.
I love.
We know what we're talking about.
Exactly. Like I was just thinking here, like, look at us, like, talking shit on these bands who are, like, actually making stuff. I'm here eating a fucking bag of chips, like, make better music.
So
So are there any albums that you guys
Janelle Monáe. I know she's not a rock musician, but I'm excited
definitely.
for that.
Well, yeah. The Father John Misty, I guess, is folk rock, you know? His forthcoming album. Fourth album.
Coming.
In June.
I can't believe he has an album out so
exactly.
quickly. I thought there'd be a long period. Yeah.
Yeah, he released one last year.
Yeah, he did. But I think what happened with this one is that he'd already written it. Like by the time Pure Comedy came around, I think he'd already written it, and then like recorded it after Pure Comedy was released or something like that. But he, you know, pretty much, and so whether that's good or bad, who knows? Sometimes, like, you know, and albums consecutively can be really solid. Father John Misty's never been one to, like, release two albums close to each other. He's always had 2 years apart or something like that. But, you know, look at there's a lot of great artists who've released albums near each other that have been, you know, fantastic. So, it can go either way. And the other one I wanted to say, the Arctic Monkeys album, I'm very much looking forward to. I don't know what to expect. There is a leak review. There is a leak review of the album that is it's like in a magazine, which will be coming out in June. They gave it They gave it a 7 out of 10. And they said that it's very it's, you know, I don't know if you listened to the last Shadow Puppets album. It's kind of, you know, a progression, not the same, but a progression of that. It's still very spacey. It's very 60s, 70s, you know. Well, I think it's a poppy, actually. You know, like the low voice like that Alex Turner has, kind of like a Leonard Cohen sort of drony, dull voice. What was funny is that they brought up Father John Misty too as a inspiration. Inspiration for the album.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Amazing, which is so weird. So yeah, who knows? Apparently, like Daniel Avery is doing back, you know, some guest vocals for it and stuff like that. But who knows what to expect? I mean, the Arctic Monkeys have had such an up and down career. Well, for most people, I think all of their albums are pretty good. But for most people, it's probably been up and down or downhill. I don't know. I'd never gotten your like genuine thoughts, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the downhill side, I think. I don't know. I love their first album. Then I loved Favorite Worst Nightmare. Two great albums, honestly. Like two. Yeah.
Everyone call Ryan and
which one didn't I hear? I don't think I heard one of them all the way through. I think there's one. I think that's the one actually. I think the only ones I heard for that one were the singles, and they were so soaked in like Beatles psychedelic stuff. It was just so obviously like inspired by that kind of era. You know, what was the song that? Suck It and See. Like what was the singles called? The Don't Sit Down 'Cause I Moved Your Chair and like Sha-la-la-la, whatever that single was. I don't know.
What? A Hellcat Spangled?
Banging? It's too quiet. It's too quiet to bang, man.
It's a banging tune.
Anyway, I only heard those.
Nah, it's banging. That album, it's great.
It's actually the only album that I've really come to like of from these guys
Really?
so far. I've listened to Your Favorite Worst Nightmare
Yeah.
as well, and it's good. But I haven't really gotten into the
give it a
root
try.
of it. I think I need more patience.
Yeah, that is interesting because like most people have opinions on the Arctic Monkeys, like very strong opinions, because everybody likes their first album. Most people like their second album. What is that crackling in
I
the
don't know.
background?
Yeah, what is that?
Okay.
It's Alex Turner.
Keep quiet.
Yeah, you can hear us
Turner
bitching about him.
coming through, like, stop talking shit on me. Stop talking shit on me.
I don't know what the crackling was.
Yeah, most people like their second album. Die Hard fans adore their third, Humbug. Generally, people aren't that warm to that album. A lot of people don't like Suck It and See, and AM was almost their like mainstream breakout, where like mainstream like audiences love it, think it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to music. And then like sort of critics, or well, I guess like the internet critics, like people who like alternative music, experimental music, just hate it and think
I think it was just pretty average overall, to be honest, but it wasn't anything special. But it's interesting because it was like their debut album all over again, where like it was like, oh my god, this band has broken out, like they're rock, they're like different, and like that was kind of like their debut. It was like people forgotten that they'd came out in like 2006, but it was like that, all their singles were like really popular. They got in like the top 10 and stuff like that in the charts. It was really weird.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They won so many awards too. And I think the biggest criticism people have of them now, especially fans, is that they aren't like lads from Sheffield anymore. Like, who were just making, it's like these fans who think that music has to be from the roots, like
exactly.
Alex. Yeah, exactly. Like Alex Turner always has to sound like a lad from Sheffield. But like, that's the beauty of music that evolves. Bands evolve, artists evolve. Good or bad, doesn't it just happens naturally.
So if you guys would suggest me to check out more of their music, I should just listen to their first
definitely.
record?
Yeah, it's definitely the one everybody agrees on is, a solid
great
like
album.
classic. Indie rock classic. It truly is. It kind of defined that era.
Yeah, because I'm gonna release a video on them.
Oh, good.
Like
okay.
before
Yes.
their, album
Do.
release.
Yeah, that'd be
So,
good.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
need
do
to
it.
listen a lot more to them.
That's good because they do have an interest. I mean, I'm still a diehard Arctic Monkeys fan. But that's only because of my bias. Like, I grew up listening to them. So I've read up a lot about them. They have an interesting backstory. There's a lot of interesting things. Like, the most interesting thing I could sort of conjure up in my mind now is that Humbug was recorded in the desert and produced by Josh Homme.
Josh
From
Wow, in
Queens
the
of
desert.
Stone Age. And it's funny because if you listen to the album, it very much sounds very isolated and does sound like it's produced by Josh Homme. It's like a very interesting record. I personally think it's the best. I think.
Yeah. Does he have any vocals on there?
Josh Homme, I don't think so. Guitar? I actually don't think he does anything. I think he just produces.
That's doing something though.
Album, really. Oh, he mixed. Yeah, he obviously mixed it and stuff, but I don't think he played guitar or anything like that. Might have done. I don't know. I haven't actually read up on the the details of each song, but
no, because I saw them performing. I think he did some
I think-
vocals together.
Yeah.
With the
I think he did vocals on AM. I think their latest album, AM, he did vocals. Yeah.
he did. Yeah, he definitely did vocals.
But speaking
on
of
it.
Josh Homme, I mean, Like Clockwork
Yeah.
came out that same year, and let's be honest, that's a better album than AM. I mean, come on, Josh. Come on, homie.
It's a better album. It's a
Than
better
AM?
album than what?
Yeah.
Oh, then
Yeah.
AM. Yes, but certainly not better than.
Oh no! I was just making this point of that. Like Clockwork came out the same year as
Yeah.
AM because we mentioned that Josh Homme was on AM. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's.
I think it's really sad that so many people are, and I feel like these are people that have just started to listen to Queens of the Stone Age as well. There's so many people that hail their two newest albums, like Clockwork and Villains, as some of their, like, they literally say that they're their best albums. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
have you listened to all of their
Yeah.
albums? Or are you just
Villains
saying
for me was absolutely dire. Like, I was so bored. I thought it was one of the most middle of the road rock albums that I've listened to in a long time, and that's saying something.
I liked it. I thought it was alright. I thought I thought people gave it way too much hate. Like, it was just like this. It was fine. It was
No,
a
it
fine rock
sucked.
album. It wasn't anything special. It wasn't anything amazing. It was just fine. I don't know.
Yeah. I can't possibly
well,
agree with
fair
that,
enough.
unfortunately. Their first album, though.
The funny thing about that album is that one of their songs, sort of,
Mm.
Eagle Has Landed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember it.
Yeah.
I think that was, if what I read was true, it was made
Oh.
like 10 or 12 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that is why it sounds so much like their previous material. And I was like, oh, okay, this is good, because that was one of their singles, and it really reminded me of their old stuff. Not that that's like, I mean, I would love them to try out something new, but it was really resonating with me, and that was, I think, one of the only songs that I really came to like from
Yeah,
them, so.
it's interesting how that works. Like the other example I can think of that kind of thing is with the Last Strokes EP, Future, Present, Past, and they obviously, it does exactly what it says on the box. Like, it's 3 songs, one sounding like where the Strokes were going, one sounding like where the Strokes were at the time, and one sounding like where the Strokes used to be. And the Past song was fucking amazing. Like, if you stuck that onto the first or second Strokes album, you wouldn't bat an eyelid, because it sounded exactly like that. It sounded amazing. But I don't know if that was because it was recorded back then, or because they actually made an effort to recreate that sound, and either way for me would be very interesting to know. You know, it's so weird. But I think that's just because a lot of bands, you know, like the first sound that they came out with, especially like the Strokes or Queen of the Stone Age or Arctic Monkeys, like they were they were different for the time, and they've struggled to maybe, I don't know, keep up with you know, niche things. Like, they've just sort of slowly gotten into you know, I don't know, like other sounds that maybe just sound like everything else. I know that, like, you know, at first the Arctic Monkeys, Alex Turner was listening to like Public Enemy and, you know, all of this like hip hop music, and it certainly influences lyrics, and rock music had barely been shown, you know, hip hop aesthetics at that point, that it was very, very interesting and new, and, you know, it hit hard. Whereas like now he's going back and as I said, listening to like Leonard Cohen and stuff like that, so he's obviously leaning towards the past and, you know, sticking with that theme, and it ends up kind of hindering the nicheness.
It's certainly the issue with rock in general, isn't it? Just leaning towards the past, but then, as you say, like, you try something different and add some electronics, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's electronic now. Why?" It's kind of weird. But what do you think, Lee? Do you think rock's heading in a certain direction, or you got any sort of thoughts on rock in the future, or you're not sure?
I don't know. It seems like a lot of different things are just recycling, and not just with rock music. I mean, if you look at pop music as well, 24 Karat Magic was basically funk, which is from the
like 70s.
Well, yeah,
a bit, probably a bit.
Yeah, 70.
Yeah, that was when it
probably
was
more
like
prominently 70s,
thriving, I'd
really.
say.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is one example of pop just reintroducing old stuff. And if you look at Tame Impala, for example, that's just psychedelic rock with, in a modern suit in a way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. But then what's really interesting is that, or I guess it's just another example of what I said about recycling. But for example, trap music hasn't. That's a genre that it has existed for 10 years now or something.
Oh, it's been around, like trap beats and stuff have definitely been around for a while now.
Yeah, but it started becoming a bit more popular during the early 2000s, I believe. And now it's sort of hitting the peak. But what's real interesting to me is like you can see these subgenres within trap music suddenly arising. And I don't know if you guys have, or if you even like this genre. I haven't explored it that much myself, but
oh god,
emo,
yes,
trap.
Yeah.
This guy, Lil Peep, he died not too long ago, and you have this resurgence of that, this mixture between rap music and rock music, which happened with like Linkin Park and Deftones and stuff like that. So that is another example of things like recycling, but at the same time, there's something new about it, but maybe people just.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
I don't know.
It totally. I mean, it is new. It just like, I don't know if it is a good direction, considering that emo music, it has not aged well at all. Yeah. Nu metal is probably one of the only genres that has aged about 1 billion years. In my personal opinion, it just sounds fucking terrible now. So rock, and trap, if that's the direction they're going, and that's the sources they're using, I don't know if that's necessarily good, honestly. Maybe it is for the kids. Maybe it is for like the 14-year-old, emo kids. And I can totally understand where they're at. I was in that position as well.
The kids are always wrong.
Emo? Yeah, emo fuck the kids. But like emo trap, really? Like,
you like it? Okay.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, okay.
No kidding.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I'm open to it though. I'm not open to a lot of trap music,
right.
But I'm a big fan of Post Malone, for example.
I do like Post Malone. Yeah.
He does,
yeah.
I know, I'm not a fan of him really, but I like one song, I think.
No. Yeah. I'm not excited for his new album. Whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long is this thing?
I think we're wrapping.
Yeah, we'll pretty much wrap it up. Yeah,
now.
Based on the last few things, I guess that's we can wrap it now because it's been about an hour. Emo trap is coming back, guys.
That's what we've come to.
6ix9ine is a new Linkin Park. XXX.
Yeah, sponsored by Princess
Oh
Nokia's
God.
new
Lord. Yeah.
mixtape. If you like emo rap, you should probably listen to Princess Nokia's new album. It's
oh yeah, you might like that, Lee. Yeah, let us know as well what you think of it, because I hate it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but anyway, we'll leave it here, and thank you, Lee, for coming on. This has been great. Appreciate you giving up your time for us, and thank you, Josh, as always, and thank you for listening, everyone else who's listening currently at this point. An hour and 4 minutes in, I thank you, and that is it. Yeah, we shall end it here. So goodbye.